There are 84 brawlers inside of Brawl Stars, which makes it very difficult when deciding on who to get. In this video, I'll be breaking down the top brawlers that you should grab to create the perfect account. Let's dive in. If you're just starting out, we first have to understand each class and their role in Brawl Stars. Let's start with the tanks. Now, tanks are meant to create space and provide a meat shield for their team. For example, let's say Daryl. He creates space by pushing up with two rolls, allowing his team to move up the map with the applied pressure. Tanks also have high damage when enemy brawlers get too close, which is why people will tend to back away from tanks if you just charge at them. This makes tanks like Meg an even bigger threat as she has range and HP, making her the ultimate weapon early on. Next up are assassins, and they are what they sound like. They're meant to quickly take down enemy brawlers by capitalizing on their mistakes or by catching them off guard with their utility. Leon can turn invisible and sneak up behind enemies to quickly defeat them without a sound. Some assassins can also create space, just like tanks. This is something we'll talk about later as more advanced tactics. Lastly, assassins can also quickly wipe your entire team if you are not careful around them, making them the ultimate threat when they get their supers. Support brawlers are special in their own unique ways. Their role is to provide utility for their team to gain an edge over the enemy. This could be either speed from Max, healing from Byron, or stun lock from Kit, each allowing their team to follow up based on the provided buff that they provide. Our fourth class is called controllers, which work on making the map their territory. What this means is that they control areas on the map, either with a large attack radius or a super which stops other brawlers from stepping in that area with the threat of high damage or even defeat. Something to note here is that controllers don't have the highest DPS, so pushing up on them can be easier than pushing into a tank, as they don't want you to get close, and instead would rather keep their distance in order to stay alive and keep their control. Next up is my favorite, the damage dealers, who specialize in, well, you guessed it, dealing damage. Damage dealers are extremely map dependent, but provide heavy damage wherever they go. Being the main contributor to damage in Brawl Stars, damage dealers are often used to counter assassins, tanks, and controllers. They can move quickly and deal damage that makes these brawlers want to distance themselves in order to stay alive. The second last class is a marksman. Brawlers inside this class have extremely long range and high damage the farther you are from them, making them a threat inside wider and spacious maps. These brawlers are able to stand up against controllers as they can compete with controllers' range while also having breathing room thanks to their enormous reach. Marksmen really shine by backing off brawlers trying to push into your team. Similar to damage dealers, however, marksmen can do it much sooner because of their longer range, making them threatening if you get backed off. Lastly, we have the artillery class, which gets the title for most annoying in Brawl Stars. These brawlers can shoot over walls and prefer not to engage in close combat. They deal exceptional damage and can be an insane threat to your team if you do not have anything to counter it. You should always have a thrower against thrower matchup, because if you do not, they have the advantage of shooting over walls when all you can do is stand there. Now that you understand each class and how they work, let's hop into the top brawlers that you should have inside of Brawl Stars. Now, I created a list for all 84 brawlers based on these three classes: versatility, skill level, and meta relevance. This means my list ranks brawlers on where they can be played, how hard it is to play them, and how they fare against the current meta. Towards the end, I'll reveal the best brawlers everyone should have, in these categories, so stay tuned for that. I rated each brawler from 1 to 5 for each of these categories to decide which brawlers will make my cut. After ranking all 84 brawlers in 3 categories, some brawlers came to be the obvious choices by hand, but others, well, they shocked me. Based off of my list, the number 1 tank you should have in your account is Daryl. I hinted at this earlier, but Daryl is highly relevant in the current meta because of his mobility and damage. His super allows for closing gaps and escaping dangerous situations while being able to destroy enemies up close. Daryl's self-recharging super gives him versatility across many game modes, like Brawl Ball for quick scoring, or Heist for damage and Showdown for survival. Daryl is a bit harder to play with a 3.5 out of 5 rating for skill, making him very rewarding once mastered. Definitely a must-have. In addition, the number 1 assassin for all 3 categories is Cordelius. Now, Cord has an insane skill level value with a 5 out of 5, but is extremely meta relevant with a 5 out of 5 score as well. Cord is also extremely versatile thanks to his gadgets, which allow him to either silence enemies who get too close or jump over walls to get at artillery and control brawlers. Other notable choices with a lower skill is Edgar, Buzz, and Lily, all being very non-so-friendly powerhouses in this game. Moving towards support, I needed help from the community to choose which one is the most helpful, and they spoke, with the number 1 voted brawler in support class being Gus. Gus allows for both a shield and damage buff in one super thanks to his star power, while also having control attributes with his exploding ghost gadget. He stands tall as a damage dealer as he breaks the 2,000 plus damage mark with a single attack, making him insanely broken for a support class. You must have this guy. Don't miss out. Controllers are widely used in any map, but picking one for every map is definitely not an easy choice. Because some have better control on different maps, like Gale is good at creating distance between him and the enemy team with his super, but if you're playing Hot Zone, you want to capture the point. Now, a super which covers the entire Hot Zone might be a bit more helpful when picking a controller. With this in mind, and the scores given to them based on the table, the number 1 controller you should have here is Sandy. Sandy's super covers an insanely large area and can be used for damage or healing, making it useful for zone control and supporting your team. He is also easier to play with a 3.4 out of 5 rating for skill, proving that he is the most versatile controller. Next up, we have damage dealers, and this one is a no-brainer. Surge is by far the best damage dealer right now, as he counters the meta, has lots of area control with his shots, and threatens wall jumps or team wipes with his super and hypercharge. He is all around a very dangerous brawler, putting him at the number 1 damage dealer in the game. If you have a red eye aimed at you, it's probably from a marksman, and our title is claimed by Piper. She is everyone's go-to brawler when you think of snipers, but she fulfills this role with high damage and the ability to escape danger or stay in battle with her gadget. She is a very skilled brawler with a 4.5 out of 5 skill rating. However, it does pay off. Finally, we have artillery, and our number 1 spot goes to Larry and Lori. This brawler is insane with both area control, pressure against other brawlers with her super, and the ability to catch people off guard just like assassins with her switch places gadget, making her the best option for new players. Now you know the best brawlers to grab inside of Brawl Stars for each class. Hopefully, this video helped you understand each class, their roles, and who does their job the best. Make sure to comment which brawler you think is the best for each class, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.